Hi, Schlockmeister fans. Back to the Nurses collection again. This time we're going to watch the fourth movie in the set. This one's called The Young Nurses. Let's check it out. So this guy was spying on this topless chick named Kitty, who happens to be a nurse. And unfortunately for him, an accident's about to happen. Thankfully, we have a couple nurses on board. So they get him on board and they call an ambulance. Strange that apparently there's no medics in this ambulance in the back, so they have to take Kitty, bikini-clad nurse. There's Kitty. We also get to see Joanne.
In 7 minutes,
another nurse.
I'll be exploring the gastrointestinal tract of one Miss Imbroglio. Meanwhile, we have this room that old Ed left, who departed us last night.
Well, Kitty is kind of taken with the sailboat sailor guy that she saw knocked unconscious in the water. And they become a couple. Making his second appearance in a nurse movie, actor Dick Miller.
Every time a junkie dies, the crime rate goes down.
That kid is not a junkie. I've been treating him for 2 months.
For what?
Conjunctivitis.
My ass.
His eyes.
I believe this is Joanne in the shower with her man. Joanne likes to go rogue and play doctor sometimes.
When I first came here, my ambition, which I have achieved, was to be head nurse, not head doctor. You would be wise to have a similar ambition in your hostile mind.
I am not hostile. You know there aren't enough doctors here. If I can take care of some of the smaller jobs, takes the pressure off them for the more important things. A drug called Quadrin.
No.
This is Michelle, the nurse.
Until today.
Hey, baby, remember
She's
that?
interested in this drug that people are apparently ODing on.
Well, why don't you go inside and put it on, and I'll take you out somewhere.
Meanwhile, back at the hospital, Kitty is giving some special water therapy to her guy. My kind of therapy. That apparently is a rock star named Chicken, who is having some sort of issue where he needs an ambulance.
I'm paying $85 an hour for the studio. You guys go back in there and play.
What I want to know is, why didn't you just drive him to the hospital?
We also have an old woman who needs an ambulance. Thankfully, there's an ambulance. Joanne's playing doctor again.
1 unit, universal donor type blood. Now.
Unauthorized? Forget it.
That woman does not need 3 copies of a doctor's signature. She needs blood. Now.
The patient will not be admitted to the hospital until we have his full name.
You got his full name. Chicken is his full name. Has 5 million record buys. Chicken is his full name.
Michelle was riding a motorcycle and she was getting chased by these 2 thugs. Who chased her into the water, under the dock, but thankfully, ouch. This is Matt's dad, the sailor.
Business, shall we?
You're a nurse, right? And you stick to being a nurse. You take care of my boy's body, but you don't fuck with his mind.
I'm not. My job is to help him get well.
Listen.
You listen. It's more important for Matt to get better than to sail in some race just so that you can get your picture in the paper.
Now here we have an interesting scene. We have some guy who basically he's killing somebody for no reason. But he's not done. He chases this guy down and does the same thing to him. Who are these people? Who are these characters? I have no idea. Meanwhile, under the dock, I believe this is that second guy who got stabbed.
Mommy, look, he's dead.
Kitty goes to check on Matt.
What are you doing dressed?
I'm leaving.
You're what?
I'm not gonna miss that, Ray.
His shoulder's not ready yet.
My father's checking me out.
But that's dangerous.
Nurse Ratchet hears some giggling in one of the rooms. Apparently one of the nurses is having a little too much fun with the patient.
It's a candy striper's job to make the patient's stay in the hospital more pleasant.
This is not what we mean by pleasant.
It was pleasant, wasn't it?
Couldn't wait.
Joanne screwed up.
Well, I'm glad you admit it anyway. Shows you're willing to accept the responsibility for your actions. But it's unfortunate that because of what you did, that woman now has septicemia. We'll be lucky, frankly, if she lives. Because if she lives, she'll soup.
So Joanne is so distraught at that news that she can do nothing but run down to the beach, take off all her clothes, and go skinny dipping.
He's not going to die or anything.
You want to do a doctor's job.
We'll be lucky, frankly.
Kitty goes to see her sailor man, and he decides to take her with him instead of Daddy, I guess.
You're gonna lose! After all I did for you! You're gonna lose!
Michelle is still in search of that drug called Quadron or something like that. She's following somebody she thinks might lead to it. Ends up following right to that boat from that guy she knows.
Well, Michelle, how are you? It's a pleasure to see you.
That's a bad
How
guy.
do you feel? Lester, would you please close the door? See? Because I have to get rid of you.
He tries to attack her. He's got a syringe with something that he's going to inject into her to kill her. But she is able to turn the corners with a crotch shot. And he stabs himself. So Lester wraps the body and he's going to toss it over the side.
Old man had money coming in from all sides.
He wants Michelle to come with him.
Michelle? I wasn't really asking you. I'm telling you. You're coming with me.
Things are getting weird now. Again, things are really weird now. Michelle decides, since she sees her friend Kitty, of all people, on a nearby boat, she's going to jump off to meet her and take a ride home with her, while Lester's going to simply dump the body. In broad daylight, with other boats around.
Committed single-handed.
So Michelle has to have a hearing.
Is someone talking? This is a hearing. Continue, Nurse Doctor.
When nurses don't follow the rules, the hospital suffers.
The blood. We ran tests.
Apparently the blood was bad, though.
Was infected. We get blood from all over. There's no way of knowing if some wino on Skid Row walks into a blood bank with any number of imperfections in his blood.
Why didn't anyone say anything about this? Thank you for the vote of
Michelle gives an
confidence,
impassioned speech.
but I have another job. When you get around to treating your nurses like human beings and your patients like people, then you give me a call.
And before I leave, let me show you a little side boob. Alright, let's talk about the Young Nurses here. It's the fourth film in the Nurses quadrilogy. It's the third one on this Nurses Collection DVD. And also produced by Roger Corman. He was involved in all of these things here. And I guess it's a typical entry in the nurse movies. We have Jeannie Manson, who plays the lead in this. She played Kitty, the girl who was hanging out with the sailboat guy. Absolutely gorgeous woman this was, or still is, no doubt. She was actually a Playboy bunny a couple of years after this. She appeared in Playboy. And I can't remember the other girl's name who was in this, or actually either of the other two. But anyway, very lovely women, as always in these movies. And as always, like the nurse movies, there's always a little drama and intrigue going on. This time we have some drug dealing, and there's some shooting, and there's a body being dumped off a boat, and wow, they really get into some heavy stuff here. But of course, nobody ever gets in trouble in these movies either. Just like the previous one I watched yesterday, Night Call Nurses, where there's a shootout at the end, and a cop dies, and but everybody gets away, and the guys escape from prison. Everything's scot-free. And same with this one. This guy has a drug dealer on his boat that he dumps off, and the woman who's with him doesn't seem to think it's a big deal. In fact, she just says to her friends who are boating nearby, "Hey, can you pick me up? I'll drive back with you." Weird, just kind of an odd thing. Now, also, I think the movies are, at least nudity-wise, are getting a little dirtier. This one has some full frontal nudity in it, which, of course, is great. And again, like I said, the ladies are just beautiful, absolutely beautiful in this movie. There's actually kind of like an orgy sequence with the black girl in this movie. And I should point out, too, also, all of these movies so far, at least, I believe, have had 3 main nurses, 2 who are white and 1 who is black. I guess they were trying to be diverse, political, and show a lot of tits. That's what they did in this movie, too. So anyway, Jeannie Manson, or Jean Manson, I'm not sure. She ended up doing some movies, not a lot. And then she moved to France, I think. And she's there now. She was on a long-running TV show there. And I think she still lives there and has a couple of kids. So anyway, like I said, typical entry in the Nurses collection. You can get this DVD. This probably costs you maybe $10-15 or so. It's a very good deal for 4 pretty good movies. The quality of these movies, the picture is pretty good, too. I believe these movies are available in other formats as well, other DVDs, other compilations and that thing. But anyway, it's pretty good. If you like this kind of stuff, it just moves along great. It's a short movie, like an hour and 15 minutes, but it's just a lot of fun and easy watching. So I definitely recommend it. It's called The Young Nurses, and go check it out. Let me know what you think about it and leave some comments down below. Bye.